E on me music, baby.
And yummy music.
In the back of a 77 Lactaville, I was conceived on leather seats with smooth beats that still resonate through my soul. I never hesitate to flow cold, illuminate through your peepholes and detonate on black foes. These neonates been born, but still sworn to their childish ways. Slaves without chains cause their minds is haze. Spirits ablaze, soldiers who don't know who to fight. So-called leaders with cliches told you to love everything that's white. So when we get on, we leave goddesses for white girls. God, this is not the right world. God, this is some shit. We need to stop pretending this, cause ain't shit about them motherfuckers that's supremacists. Behind closed doors, fear genders I suppose. Bio warfare composed, and we rather believe conspiracy when it's exposed. We'd rather complain that we not treated the same. But to wanna be like rapists, murderers, and thieves, that's just insane. You gon' learn today. Every time I step to the mic and push play, I make your mind go crazy. Give you some shit that's real. My legendary status been sealed. E on me music, giving you some shit you can feel. You gon' learn today. Every time I step to the mic and push play, I make your mind go crazy. Give you some shit that's real. My legendary status been sealed. Ray Kane in the journal, giving you some shit you can feel.
What up, though? What's the what show today? We got Lee in the house.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How you doing today, man?
Oh, man, I'm hanging on tight, brother. You know, I been battling these sinuses, man.
Yeah, I can tell, man.
Can you hear it? Can you hear my voice? So
yeah,
I apologize for that. Yeah, it's not my same little, you know what I mean? I ain't got my little suave voice going on. I sound like I sound like a cartoon character with this bug.
All right, man. So
yeah.
I'm gonna get it started like this, man. I'm gonna first, you know, we gotta support, you know, some black stuff, some black businesses and stuff. So we gonna start it up like this just to get some people, some information to some of the people out here. I don't know if you can see this right here. If you can see that on your screen. The blackoutcoalition.org. On this page, they got the black banks that are in America. They got them lit up. The green ones are the One United Bank. One United Banks are in a few different states, but you can do that online anywhere in the country. So there's no excuse for you not to bank with a black bank. With that being said, though, I do want to say this is that even if you're banking with a black bank, you got to understand that that bank is still in the system, you know, the American system, because it's backed by the FDIC. But at the end of the day, if you bank with a black bank, your money is more likely to be given to black people to start black businesses and to buy homes and different things like that. So if you can, try to get your money, some of your money at least, moved over that way.
Yeah.
You know
Do you
what I'm saying?
think or what would you say on a percentage-wise scale, okay, when it comes down to the banking system, how many people do you think really know how the banking system operates?
Oh, man. You talking about percentage? You talking about just Americans in general? I mean,
just, you know, in general, you know, we could say in our case, in the black community, okay, then you can, of course, you could separate it through age, 18 to 25 and 26, you know, you can do all that, but just overall.
I couldn't give you no statistics. What I could give you is this. The average American reads one book in their lifetime. So if you're only reading one book in your lifetime, this is a statistic. The average American reads one book in their life. Well, the average American reads one book a year, and then there are so many Americans that have only read one book in their lifetime that's over the age of 30. Too many to really be naming. I can't remember the exact number. I looked at that. It was interesting to me. So if you're looking at that, like, and you saying that, you have to believe that most people don't know how banking works. I mean, I'll be honest, sometimes when it comes to some things in finances, I'm still kind of lost in it. So So, you know, it's important that we start learning more about it. That's why I'm trying to read a couple books about it and everything, especially after I get done with this Kabir book that you hooked me up on.
The Kabir book, the great book, man.
Taking me a minute. Oh, I'm liking it, man. We'll talk about it in a minute. Let me go through this real quick. We'll get on that too. We'll talk about that too. But see, this is the Blackout Coalition.org website. Go there. If you look right here where I got the business directory lit up, it's got a bunch of different Black business directories where you can go through and find out where you can shop at for your, you know, in your city or online or whatever. So, you know, of course, we can't get all our money out of the system. I mean, we still got to pay rent. We still got to pay mortgages. We still got to pay lights and gas. So, you know, we're never going to move all our money out the system in our lifetime anyway. But yeah, whatever we can keep inside our own communities is great. Hopefully those people that we buying with is trying to keep that money within their own community also. I'm gonna go to this other thing too. You heard of this, man? The Dapper Black Box, man?
What's it called?
The Dapper Black Box.
The Dapper Black Box? Yes.
Okay,
is that where they kind of like have a little deal? I think I've seen that where they send you a whole little ensemble from the cufflinks to your tie. Is that what that is?
It's $28. It's $28 subscription. You know what I'm saying? For cats that like to really dress up and wear their suits and stuff. They, you know, business cats. This is good for them. So look this up, dapperblackbox.com. That is owned by
Dapper Black Box. Yeah.
So let's support that. Then I'm gonna go to one more. You look at this Natty Naturals. What they do is they have lotions and facial skin care, bath salts, different stuff basically for bath time and health and beauty type stuff. Pretty good products. You can get them online here, order them, come straight to the house. You know, support this Black business. I'm gonna have to get some of this stuff so I can show it on the screen. You know what I'm saying? I like that website, real simple. You go right on here and know what you're trying to get, and you get it. You know what I'm saying? So these are just some places where you can go and try some stuff out. Everything don't work for everybody, but we can definitely try that out. So that's that right there. Hey, look, so I'm gonna go.
That's what's up.
So look, so the one thing, just on a lighter note, because we already know what we're really gonna be talking about, but on a lighter note, Tim Duncan retired. He finally got up out of there.
Tim Duncan,
the big fundamental. What we talk about: 5 NBA championships, 2 NBA MVPs, 3 Finals MVPs, a number of All-Star games, number of number 1 team, all types of stuff. So, I mean, so that's gonna be. I don't want to say a big loss to the NBA because I mean you got players coming in and players are going to eventually fill in those spots. Right. That's definitely somebody that's gone from the NBA. You know, that we grew up watching or we watched and basically during our adult life. So Tim Duncan is out of there, man.
His whole career.
Very consistent. Very consistent. Even consistent with them Sears shirts he would wear to the oh man, very consistent brother, man. You know, he going out the right way. I would say still on top because he was still playing his game at a high level when he went out. You know, he was still putting up good points, still getting rebounds, still doing the things that still doing the things that you normally would do as an elite player. So yeah, that's always a good thing to see. So So man, get into the real now, man. Oh yeah,
Yeah, I know. I feel you.
One more thing. Serena Williams, she won her 22nd Grand Slam over the weekend too.
She'll
So
get
we got to
another
give
one
it up
too.
to Serena. So she get that
Yep.
next one, she'll pass Steffi Graf, and then she'll just need one more to tie the all-time record, which is 24. I can't think of the lady name. It was done in the 70s. I can't think of her name, but she has 24 of them, and so she only really need 3 more to pass up the all-time great number.
It wasn't Billie Jean King, was it?
No, it wasn't Billie Jean King.
I don't
The
know.
name,
She didn't even have that many.
No, she didn't have that many. Steffi Graf was the only one up there, and really
That's what
Steffi
for real.
Graf, yeah, that's the one that they really didn't want her to pass. But once she passes up that 24 and get to 25, it's probably gonna be over. She'll probably pass that in the next couple of years anyway, right before she retires, because it's about that time for her to retire. So hey, if anybody watching this right now, you can go watch it live on YouTube. Comment on it, subscribe to us. We're gonna be here every week doing this. Every week, unless it's a holiday or something like that, we're gonna be here. So
That's right.
so Lee, man,
Yeah.
last week we talked about Alton Sterling. Got off of here. I know me, I got off of here, looked on the internet, and we see Philando Castille get shot in such a way that it was just utterly ridiculous. It was unbelievable. It was almost like watching a movie, and and his girlfriend sitting there with the baby in the car. This policeman, or lack thereof, shot inside of this vehicle because he was basically scared of this dude. So my question to you is this, man. I know you grew up in LA, the LA district, Compton. And where else did you say? It was somewhere else you told me where you started at before y'all moved over to Compton.
No, we went from LA to Pasadena.
Pasadena. Okay. So I know you grew up over there, man. And and LA, as far as I know, I mean, just last year they handed out millions of dollars in lawsuits for police brutality. New York, millions of dollars for police brutality. And a lot of people are saying, well, these are just isolated events, stuff like that. But when you looking at major police stations giving out major amounts of money to families for police brutality, you have to think this is not isolated. So my question to you is, you growing up in an area where I mean, fuck the police came out of that area and all that stuff.
Yeah.
What is your take on what just happened and what transpired over the last week, including the Dallas shooting when Michael Xavier Johnson decided that he was tired of the bullshit and took to the streets and started shooting police officers?
Yeah, man, it's all bad in so many levels. And, my family, most of my family migrated from Texas, Louisiana, ended up in LA. My granddaddy actually, after he served his term in the Navy, he did a couple of terms. He was in World War II, Vietnam, and the Korea War. But he was the mayor of Watts at one point. And Watts was bad. Watts, Compton, Long Beach, just the LA.
Wait. You said who was the mayor of Watts?
My grandfather.
Okay. I didn't know that, man. I did not know that.
He was there for a short term, and then he realized while he was in there the corrupt system in which it was, and he just bowed out gracefully. He knew that there was nothing at that time. Remember, it was a whole different era at that time. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a lot that he could have done because the politics that were written, which is the cloaked, I guess you could say, Jim Crow of that time, okay? he just didn't have a leg to stand on, and so he got out of it. And then my family was from Pasadena. My dad and my mom are from Pasadena, and Rodney King is from Altadena. Okay, and I got so many stories, bro. Oh my goodness, my cousin was killed by the police. You know, in Monrovia, female. You know, Renita Holden, rest in peace. I love her dearly. She was in police custody, and she was killed, and there was a big lawsuit behind it. The police in general, a lot of people have similar viewpoints, especially those of people of color and lower class, if you will. In regards to your income and where you stay in your neighborhood. And so in the case of the guy that shoots Philando, the one who vocally expressed him having a weapon, you got to understand as a cop going in the situation, here it is a man with his wife and there's a child in the back. So how much of a threat could he be? And there's so many stories. Now it's been maybe a week since it's actually happened, Randy, based on today and when it actually happened. So a lot has, come out about these cases. But in this case particular, hey, man, you walk into the car. The guy says, hey, I have a weapon. You ask him to give you his ID. He reaches for his ID, then you shoot him. How many times did he shoot him?
I can't remember. I'm going to be honest with you. I watched that video once. And it disgusted me so much that I couldn't.
Right.
I just couldn't
watch it again
because it was too disgusting for me. And again, I think I posted this on Facebook that the last couple of years it was young cats. It was 15, 18-year-old, 12-year-old. It was young black boys. But now these cats my age. You know what I'm saying? And so you start getting to a point where you we know this been going on. This is not isolated. We know it's been going on for years. Like we said before, Richard Pryor used to joke about it.
Mm-hmm.
Fred Sanford joked about it. Then you got Fresh Prince. Fresh Prince episode joked about it when he was when Uncle Phil was in the courtroom with Jazz, and Jazz was like, and he was like, you put your hands down. He was like, nah, so the police can shoot me in the back. So
yep.
I mean,
yeah.
When you talking about, I went all the way back to Fred Sanford, and I'm just going back on TV where people joking about it. But when you're talking about that, and then you're talking about now, and you got cameras where people can actually tape what you're doing and what the police is doing. For me, I just couldn't watch it again. I was like, that's too close to home.
Yeah, too heavy duty.
That's too close to home. All I'm thinking about is my kids. If I'm not here for them, also thinking about if somebody was to do that to them, what would be my corresponding action. I know what I believe my corresponding action would be, but it's just interesting. So I don't know how many times he got shot, man. But
it was more than once, though, right?
I think so.
Okay, even if it was 2 times, right?
Mm-hmm.
The point of the matter is, these guys are shooting to kill, and it puts a real bad stereotype on the cops that are in that mind frame. But the police force in the system doesn't get a pass either. You know what I'm saying? Because the statistics are real. They've been completely open for public review. You can see how many police killings are being, I can't even talk because I'm just remembering I've had homies die in my arms. Mm-hmm. I've had homies killed by the police. I've seen murder. My first murder I witnessed, I was 6. So I have a different viewpoint on a lot of different things. I do not trust the police, and I have not done anything wrong. but I just don't trust them. Period. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, look, I'm gonna say this because I'm gonna make the full disclosure. I've tried to get on the police force.
Right. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
And multiple times I've tried to get on the police force. You know, one time I had some family issues, which kind of got me out of that situation. But the last time I tried to get on the police force, the excuse that was given to me of why I couldn't get on was just I couldn't believe it. I mean, because I had a stepfather, my mom's second husband was on drugs, and he was a drug dealer, so that was the reason why I couldn't get on the force. I mean, that was the reason they gave me. I don't know the real reason. Could be something they might have saw on my Facebook page. I don't know.
Right.
Could be a lot of things, but the thing is this: I have two friends that are police officers that I know other people that's police officers, but I'm talking about these two guys in general because I consider them like brothers. And so when somebody says that, I consider them brothers, but again, I know them personally.
Yeah.
I don't know how I would take them if I didn't know them personally because they are police officers, and I don't trust the police either. I mean, when you're talking about a group that was originally started, it's from its inception was started to track down slaves and keep immigrants in order in the northern states and track down slaves in the southern states. When you're talking about that type of entity that started, nothing good can come from that at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. There's going to always be some corruption and something corrupt, something wicked about that system. Now, my question to you is, since you don't trust them, what is your stance on a lot of people saying that, well, there's good cops out 98%? That's the percentage that they always give. 98%. I don't know where they got that percentage from, but 98% of the cops are good. 98% of the cops are good. Okay. I would like to believe that. I would want to believe that, but my question is, I don't know where they got that percentage from, but you not trusting the cops, where do you stand with that?
Well, is that a 98% of the cops that are good because they're just not killing people, or they're just straight laced across the board? Because a good cop, you don't have to not kill somebody, a civilian, to be a good cop. You know, what about just excess force? What about when you're seizing contraband and just all kind of other stuff? You know, it's just across the board, you know. But in this case, it's no way I could believe that number. All right. But that doesn't mean that all cops are bad. I know they're not. You know some, I know some. It's the institution in which it represents. And that's what I'm saying. And somehow there's a mentality based on that institution that is instilled in the people that work for it. And then you got this, you know, this creed of brotherhood that they swear oath to each other and all that, but they also swear oath to the community. The sister that gave that real movie, I cried. I was on the way to work, and the sister got on there, and she was a cop herself, and what she said was just so moving because it's just true. You can't, and they've been doing this for so long. They're not just killing black people; they just killing people, and it's above the law mentality is what I'm more concerned of. You know what I'm saying? Because a cop is going to be a cop is going to be a cop, no matter where you are. You go to New York, cop. Same mentality. You can tell you're a cop, you know what I mean? You go to down here in the South where we are, cop. But I've never had any problem with the police here in Georgia, right? Mm-hmm. One of the most racist states historically.
Oh, yeah.
I've never had a problem. You know, I don't have that experience with them, you know? I haven't broken any laws out here. I don't have the lifestyle that I lived when I was in California either, though.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
That's true.
And that definitely helps. I get my ass up. I go to work like you're supposed to as a citizen. Earn your keep without being no doggone government recipient. and not doing no underhanded shit. So that also helps. But it didn't help in the case of Philando.
That's what I was about to say. Philando, I mean,
he worked 10 years for the school.
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
he was obeying the laws. He was,
he in the car with his girl and with her child. They keep saying her child, so I'm assuming it wasn't his. But from my understanding, I think I remember her saying that it was her fiance.
Right.
So if that was her fiance, then I mean, basically he was about to be a stepfather to that child, and so So I mean,
he was gonna be a role model for sure.
So I'm with you. Like I told my son, because he called me when he watched the Philando and called me.
Oh man!
And he called me and he shed tears when he called me. And I had to calm him down. And I told him, I said, I want you to understand something. Some things they showing this over and over again to make you scared.
Right.
I don't want you to be scared. I don't want you to be mad. I want you to be angry. And see, the reason why I say that is because being mad and being angry is two different things. See, mad leads to madness and you do crazy stuff. Anger just leads to you being able to sit back, be calm, and think about what it is that you need to do next. Think about what it is, how you need to move, and how you need to do things. So, Philando did, he did what America says is the right thing to do. See, I'm with you. I've been here in Georgia for 4 years. I think I've only been pulled over by the cops once. I mean, in Detroit, I was pulled over many times by the police. I've been detained by the police before because I didn't have my license on me, and I had to wait for the girl at the time that I was dating to bring the license to me because I didn't have a license on me. So,
you got lucky.
Oh yeah, I got lucky. I really did. I got lucky, but they were real cool with me. They didn't go out the way to do anything. I ain't never been beat by the cops. I have had some situations where the cops came and they were trying to. It was like I felt like they were trying to agitate a situation, but I didn't act up with them. I got my ticket and I kept it moving. With that being said, though, that's what I was trying to explain to him, that some things are sensationalized. Like I said, I think I've been pulled over by the police in my lifetime about 15, 16 times, maybe. That's probably, I don't know, that's probably not a lot for some people. And for some people, that's probably like, wow, how many times, and many of those times, I mean, I can name a couple other times where I wasn't pulled over by the police, but I was followed by the police. I can, me and my brother used to work in a city called Livonia, Michigan when we were teenagers, and we would drive out of Livonia and be followed from where we worked at all the way to the Redford city limit, because Redford was the next city over before you get to Detroit. So, so we've been followed by the police, and just, of course, you stay in the speed limit, you try to do the right thing, quote unquote right thing, but again, we were blessed in that situation that we didn't. They could have stopped us just because, and they didn't. And so we were blessed in that situation. With that being said, though, I'm one of the lucky ones because I know a lot of people that have been stopped and have been beat up by the police. And
I'm one of them
because I tried to get on the force before. Police have said to all the people that was trying to get on, like, hey, look. If a person make me run, he gonna get a couple licks. This was a black police person. Black police officer said this. Person make me run, and he gonna get a couple licks. And so if you go, I guess my thing is at that point that has to be excessive. He made you run. If you caught him and you got him down, he ain't resisting. Why is he getting licks? Because you feel like you had to run. That right there, that's not policing to me. Now, that's not policing to me. You just can't sit up and tell me you gonna give a person a couple licks because they made you run. Now, if the person fighting you back, of course they should get some licks. And I have seen videos where white guys, because I'm not gonna say this, because the white guys do get killed by the police at a as far as the numbers go, maybe not the statistics, but the numbers, and I believe the statistics too, but the numbers definitely, there's more white people killed by police than black people. But there definitely is not more unarmed or legally armed black people killed by the police. White people killed by the police than the black people.
Let's talk about that. Yeah, I like that. I'm glad you brought that up.
Or legally armed is where I'm going with this, because although they try to say that Alton Sterling was not legally armed, the thing is that they didn't know that. They didn't know what his past was. They didn't even know who he was. They just stepped up to him and did their thing. You know what I'm saying? And then found a reason to shoot him. So now with that saying, you know, what is it that we do? Because everybody say, well, get your CCW and everything like that. It's almost like, well, whether I got my CCW or not, it don't matter. I might as well just still keep my gun on me, because it don't matter either way. They still can just go ahead on and shoot me.
Mm-hmm. But, you know, you mentioned something that was very, very interesting, because, you know, we all have friends who are not black. And it's interesting to hear their take on it. And it's pretty much similar. And it kind of goes like this. Well, black people aren't the only ones getting killed. You see that? Just that right there.
Yeah.
And it's true. It's true.
It's true, though. It's very true.
It's very true. But on the other end of the same coin, what about what happens when those cases go to court?
Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying?
Normally, if an innocent white person is killed, that cop is going down. Normally.
So do you ever hear about it? Like, you got to think about it. Just think about all of your.
No, you know, it definitely doesn't get the national play.
But guess what? You got to remember, for the family of that white person who was killed, right? I don't know if it would be an outrage to them that it didn't make that, because my cousin was murdered by the police and it did get national reviews. Mm-hmm. They try to keep that real hush. It was in Monrovia, California. You know what I'm saying? No one really said nothing.
Okay. But, was it taped?
No, man.
No, it wasn't taped. Okay. So I mean, because I think sometimes that is what kind of gets that especially in this time in our society, that seems to be what gets the national review, is because it's taped. And then when it's taped, it's put on Facebook, it's put on YouTube, and from there it goes viral and everybody sees. See, it's different when the police go in your house and slam somebody and you know, they slam somebody, they don't kill nobody, but it's just police brutality. Do you see that on Facebook all the time? That's all the time. But
all the time.
But the thing is that that's not getting national news, because again, that's all the time. We see it so much that it's not even a big deal to us.
So that was my whole point. So even whether it gets national news or not, the fact that it's happening and it's happening and has been happening and it's going to continue to happen until there's a change on all levels, then what is the answer? You see what I'm saying? Because at this point, what it seems like we're melting it down is this point blank period. There is some sort of systematic way of these police officers not being held at what we would consider the right end of the justice law. All right. But for all the unspoken cases, for instance, my cousin found murdered in police custody. Those cops were not exonerated. They were guilty. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, let's say you have 1,000 cases within a year. 700 of them are not, I guess you could say, publicly noted. And you have 300 that are. and then you have 50 that make headlines, and then you have 25 that go viral. You see what I'm saying?
I got you.
Now, you see what I'm saying? How does it affect the jury and the decision making and all that kind of stuff? Because really, for most of these cases, it's like open and shut, man. He's guilty. You know, he's guilty. Yeah. But why aren't these cases? Why are these high profile cases? What I'm getting down to? Why are these high profile cases normally not ending out in what we would consider justice? Is there a reason for that?
It's a lot of reasons for it. I mean, of course, we know the main reason is the lack of respect for Black life. I mean, that's the whole purpose of people saying Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter is bigger than the police killing somebody. Yep. And I would hope that people understand that it ain't got nothing. It has everything to do with police killing somebody, but it also has everything to do with the disrespect for Black life. And I think that's why you have so many people saying, well, y'all don't get up in arms about Black on Black crime. Again, we don't get up in arms about it because the disrespect for Black life, even our own disrespect for other Black lives. Mm-hmm. And I mean, not me personally, not you personally, but our people overall has a lack of respect for one another in our communities, which is why a lot of times we can't get a lot of stuff done that we need to get done. But what you asked is a very interesting thing, because there's a lot of factors that go into that. Okay, so like the George Zimmerman case, it was easy to know that he was going to get off because of the way they tried to try it. You couldn't get that man on first-degree murder because first-degree murder is based on premeditation. And since that seemed like a situation where it was a moment and it happened all in that quick moment, that it was not premeditated. And so you couldn't get him on first degree. Maybe if they'd have asked for manslaughter, maybe they'd have asked for second degree, maybe they could have got it. Maybe it'd have been a little bit easier, but I believe that the jury they were able to talk the jury down from actually trying him, if anything, because all they asked for was first degree. And I knew going in, I was like, oh, he's going to get off because it's not a first degree murder. Not by law standards. I feel like it was premeditated from the time he saw him. But by law standards, it was not a premeditated murder. So that's how he got off. Some of this other stuff, that's how they get off on the grand jury and don't even get indicted a lot of times, because they go to the grand jury, and the grand jury, they fix everything up and make it look like, look a certain way. Now, Philando, I'm quite sure that cop is done. He's going to jail. Because it's just too much. But with the Alton Sterling, I hate to say it, because of his quote unquote checkered past, them cops are going to get off. Now my question now becomes this, because this is going to be real militant of what I'm about to say. My question now is this, because if this was a Black guy that went into a white neighborhood, Black cop went into a white neighborhood and just jumped on a white guy and killed that white guy right then. Probably never going to happen, because I ain't never seen that happen. I'm not saying that it ain't happened. I ain't saying the Black cop ain't never killed a white person. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that I've never seen it or heard of it. Probably has happened, but most likely he went to jail. But I'm just gonna say, if Black cop got off, you think that Black cop gonna live a good life after that? Oh no. He'd have to move out the country, man. Or he had to go into a whole different type of lifestyle, because it's just like street justice, if you will. I know a couple of stories where this cat killed this other cat, got off, and the family went looking for his ass. Let me tell you, they went looking for him. Now, I'm not saying that that's how everything goes, but in certain worlds, there is another type of justice. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong.
But you can't ever say what you would or wouldn't do until you get put in a certain situation. I've learned that in life. You know, never say what you wouldn't do, bro, because you get put in a situation, it changes you, okay? As a cop, you're going out in these streets every day, life on the line, every day. I can see you being a little sketchy, a little nervous, a little jumpy, but not at the hand. Dude, the dude could have tased him while he was in submission. He was not in a situation where he was posing that much of a threat to where he had to kill him. Shoot, he didn't even pull out his billy club.
Now that's my question. Now, why do they have these tasers and these billy clubs? You know, back in the day, they beat your ass with a billy club. I mean, ain't that what they did? That's what they did to Rodney King. They beat his ass with the billy club.
They T-rolled that man.
And all that. I mean, that's what they did to Malice Green in Detroit. And they killed Malice Green.
Yeah.
And so my thing is why they couldn't tase him. Why is it when it's the black people that's in these situations, these high tenseful sensual, these so-called I'm tense, I'm scared. Why is it that you don't pull the taser out first? And I mean, I know why it is, because again, they don't respect their black life. You know, I watched a video right before that happened. I think I told you that I had watched a video a couple of days before the Alton Sterling thing happened, that with a man was shooting. He was shooting in the air. Police got him surrounded. It took them almost 3-4 minutes before they even thought about shooting him. Mm-hmm. They still was trying to get him to put the gun down. Saw another video with a white guy with a machete, wielding a machete. Before they even tased him, it took them 3 or 4 minutes before they even thought about tasing him, and they tased him. Saw another video. I don't know if you saw this video floating around Facebook with the naked man running around. He slaps the shit out of one of these cops, and he runs away. No one ever shoots at him. They go in and they take him down. They take him to jail peacefully. You got old boy. I can't think of his name right now. His name escapes me. Dylan Roof. Is that his name? Dylan Roof, that killed the people in church.
Oh, I don't know the name. I don't know the name.
Killed the people in church.
I think that sounds right, though.
They go get him, and they go to Burger King after when they catch him and give him something to eat. That right there, I'm because I'm really about to lose it, because you gave him some Burger King after he killed 9 people. Okay, so there's a lack.
And all these guys are white guys.
All these guys are white guys that I'm naming. Now, don't get me wrong. I've seen situations where black people have done some stuff, and they probably should have got shot, and they didn't. I've seen situations like that in Detroit but there was black police officers. They de-escalated the situation as best they could, and they apprehended the person without killing. Mm-hmm. I know for a fact that's how you train. That's what you're trained to do. You're trained to try to de-escalate the situation before you go in guns a-blazing. This is not the Wild Wild West. One of the questions they ask you when you're trying to get on the police force, when they do your psychological test, is, do you have fantasies of going in somewhere, guns a-blazing, having high-speed car chases? You know, that's one of the questions they ask you when they do your psychological test. And
I'm sure it's yes. I'm sure they like yes. You can't say that.
So I mean, the thing is that when you ask, like when you start talking about the taser, why is that taser not used more often? Why is that?
I don't know, man. I think he's boiled down to the fact that, you know, these guys just want to use their weapons, man. And they want to express some inner type of anger that they have built inside of them. You know, I think they're all sad cases, but the one that really, really gets me, this last one with Philando, that was cold-blooded, man. I mean, it's all cold-blooded. It's all cold-blooded.
Real. I think that one got the majority.
I couldn't hang with that one, man. But the sad one was when the little boy who had the toy gun in the park,
Tamir Rice.
Man, get out of here.
You got a toy gun?
They knew it was a toy before they got there.
Wait, and they didn't even. They got out the car, guns a blazing. Again, drove up, guns a blazing. I don't even. I think they counted it down. The people. I think someone counted it down, and it was 12 seconds before they started shooting. 12 seconds. That's all they waited before they started shooting.
The boy was not hurt nothing.
So now something that kids loved to do back in the day, which was have water guns and shoot at each other with water guns. You can't even let your kid go out the house with a laser tag gun and think they safe if white cops are around and they are black.
No, let's check this out. If I'm a parent in today's time, you know, my child is not a child anymore. She's grown. She's 22. All right. But still, she's still alive in this world. But as a child, when it comes down to toys, there will be no guns of any kind, period. They're just going to eliminate it. They're going to have no guns. They're going to have no toy guns, none of that. If you're going to have a gun, we're going to teach you how to shoot this real gun. We're going to teach you about these guns, and that's going to be the end of that. You ain't going out, pew, pew, none of that. Nope. Sorry.
Now, I'm going to ask you this, man, because I'm going to kind of go to another, it's still the same stuff, but I'm going to go to another thing. So we're talking about the police brutality and stuff like that. And you have the situation going on, all these different situations going on. And what do you tell your child? Because again, you said your child is grown. But see, I'm grown. And if something was to happen to me, my mother's still alive. And your mother's still alive. And so if something happened to us, you know, saying ain't much they can tell us, you know, ain't much they can really say to us that they haven't pretty much said to us already.
Right.
But what do you tell the next generation? Because it's almost like you damn near for a male, you damn near got to tell them to be a punk and to be emasculated as a man, that you just gonna go out here and let these cops do whatever they want to do to you, because if not, you might not come home.
Well, you know what? I don't feel that way.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I don't feel if you're, you know, I'm a chess player, all right? And a lot of this stuff is psychological. And when you're free in the mind, you deal with certain situations a lot different. And you see things differently. Okay? I shouldn't even be alive, Randy. You know what I mean? If I'm looking back at my life, I'm telling you, I should not be here. All right? So I value my life. And I value the life of others. The complexity that it takes for a life to even be born, and then just how fast we could take it away, and it's not even our call. We don't have the authority, so that's why the punishment is so great. They don't have, okay, you might have gotten off here, but the punishment, the karmic debt is so heavy, it's unbearable. So, yeah, I'm going to play the role. I'm going to do whatever I need to do for I can keep my black ass alive and get back to my family, because I know how easily I could be gone when, you know what, my life is in my hands. It's not in their hands, because they're going to take it.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
So when you say...
It's not, I don't feel emasculated. You know what I'm saying? I don't.
So when you say play the role, I think of Sandra Bland, and I think of what was said about Sandra Bland. If she would have just been compliant, do you feel that Sandra Bland was not being compliant?
Well, see, that once again, we're getting the story that was told in a way to where we don't really know what happened. Who's telling us this story?
Well, what I'm saying is, I'm going by the video that was out there. I don't know if you saw the video, but I'm going by the video that was out there. The video that was out there is when they pulled her over, she asked a question, and it kind of got escalated from there. And many people said, well, she should have just done what the police told her to do. I think the police told her to put her cigarette out or something like that. And then because she wouldn't do it, he basically pulled her out the car and And then the rest is history. She goes to jail, and then she ends up supposedly hanging herself. A person who was, when you watch the videos of her, you know, you kind of, you know, it's funny how media can come up with stories that when you watch videos of her and everything like that. And don't get me wrong, people do front for Facebook, too. People do front for some social media, but but when you watch videos of her talking, you never really feel like you're looking at a person that would take their own life. You're looking at a person that was very strong and very much ready to buck the system and say, you know, I'll do whatever it takes for my people. I'm
sure they killed her.
With that being said, do you feel that if she would have put her cigarette out, you feel like maybe she would have survived?
I can't say that for certain because I don't know what was on that cop's mind. But when you got to remember, there's two things. Don't give them a stick to beat you with, and don't give them any thread to make a rope. You can't give them anything, bro. You got to understand that. All right? So that is, if a police officer asks you to do something, all right? In this particular case, you fucking do it, god dang it, because now you are pretty much bucking up. You're being a maverick. You're not obeying the law, and now you're pressing up against his manhood. You're black, you know. It just gets more. And that rage, if the person has that rage and that hate towards you as a black person, it makes it even worse. Now, had that been what we would consider a good cop, right? Right?
I got you.
A good cop says, "Ma'am, I need you to put the cigarette out," and she refuses to do so. Guess what that is? Obstruction. That's just another crime. That's just, you know, that's another misdemeanor, infraction. Failed to disobey the officer is actually obstruction.
Gotcha.
Okay, you don't want to put your cigarette out. Boom, there goes another one. That's a ticket.
But let me ask you this question then. Let me ask you this question. How is that obstruction when you're in your own vehicle and you're smoking a cigarette in your own vehicle? How's that obstruction? It's not a weed.
You'll beat the case. You'll beat the case, but it's just something that they could do to get you in an infraction. Remember, this is all about money.
Got you.
You see what I'm saying? So for the cop's sake, you know, your job as a cop is like a salesman. You got to go out there and get as many sales as possible. So as a cop, you got to remember what runs this system is people who have infractions with the law, from misdemeanor to felony to federal. And for every crime that you have under the judicial law, there's a penalty on that, which usually results in what? Servicing some type of time, sentence, some sort of restitution, right? A fine, community service, all right? And all of this is going to generate a whole system. You got the bailiff, you got the judge, you got the judicial system, you got the parole officer, you know, boom, 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 boom. So everybody's getting money off your ignorant ass for breaking the law.
Gotcha.
So, bringing it back, I am an officer in the field, and I'm supposed to uphold the law, protect the citizens that are what we call community law-abiding citizens, right? And then we police those who are breaking the law. But if in a perfect world everybody's not breaking the law, then guess what? That system does not exist. It cannot exist if it doesn't have anybody to fuel it. So, gotcha. Yeah, you'll beat the case. You know what I'm saying? You'll beat the case. Yeah, I didn't want to put my cigarette out. And case dismissed. You see what I'm saying?
I got you.
That's what would have happened. But they still, I mean, they could charge you. They could charge you with all kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? They could plant something on you.
I saw this interesting meme, and had a dude on the ground. Police was with him. You know, police had him on the ground, and it says, the meme basically says that if your only charge is resisting arrest, then what the hell did the police even stop you for?
Because, bro, it's once again, the majority of the police are going to get a bad rap because of this, because not all cops are like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's terrible. Just like we get racial profiled as black people. You know, we could walk, man, Randy, you got that hat on right there. You got that black excellent shirt on right there, right? I can go put on my LA Dodger hat, right? My jeans and my Cortez, we could walk somewhere, going somewhere, and they would think we are straight thugs, not knowing that we are probably more intelligent, more read, more versed than the average person that you come across. No one would ever know that I read, you know what I'm saying? Nobody would ever know that stuff that you and I have read. You know, me and you combined have read libraries of knowledge. Just me and you.
That's true.
You see what I'm saying? So the cops, the good cops that is, are going to get stereotyped based on these bad cops, which is not fair to them. But hey, that's the way it is, because I don't have any real positive experiences with the police, bro. I don't.
I'm not the only one, and there it is. But the thing is that when you talk about the police and you say that, you know, again, like us, it's almost like being black, you're guilty by association. You're guilty because you're black. But it's almost the same thing with the police now. Because when we look at police, you're guilty by association. And so when I hear the thing about the good police officers, which, like I said, I know some good police officers. I know some that I call brother. And the fact of the matter is, I even texted one that said, look, I know you one of the good ones, man, and keep your head up, and I love you. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I know he probably getting it right now. You know, I know people probably saying all this wild stuff for him too. But the thing is this, is that you have to be like Nakia Jones, Officer Jones, out there close to Cleveland or in Cleveland. You have to be one that's going to stand up and say something. You have to be like the former chief of police in Detroit that after one of the murders that happened last year, he said something about it and said, this doesn't make sense. And he stepped up and said something. He probably will never get another job as a police officer. But my question is, how can the police talk about the 98% that's good, and when one or two of them step out there and say something? Nakia Jones right now is on a leave of absence, and she didn't lose her job. She's not suspended. She's on a quote-unquote leave of absence. But my question is, I fear for her when she gets back, because who's going to ride with her? Who's going to want to be with her? Who's going to want to side with her while she's out there in those streets after she said what she said?
Man, it's going to be real tough for her, man.
So it's almost like it almost feels like
she's going to have to do something else.
Yeah, it almost feels like she's going to have to go start her a security company or something to do security from now on, and start her own security type thing or something with all her experience.
She's going to go on the backdrop,
but she's not going to be able to have that police job anymore, and everything. I just, you know, that kind of bothers. So this is the thing. So after all this happened, you got people, because I want to say something about this. You know, we've been on almost an hour, so we may go a little bit over, because I do want to get your point on this. So this is the thing. After all this happened, you got people saying, "Hey, we need to move out of this system. We need to get ourselves out of this system. We need to start buying black. We need to boycott. We got protests going on, and everything." The other thing that we have going on is a lot of people hating on what other people are doing. I find that very disturbing in our community, that we love to hate on what someone else is doing. You get what I'm saying?
When you say hating on, are you talking about our own people, about their own success?
Our own people. So I get
that's
exactly.
Well, you know why. First of all, Randy, you know as well as any well-read brother that this Willie Lynch cycle is still revolving. It's still going. Okay. Yeah. So if anyone has never, Well,
I was about to say, you know, and a lot of our learned brothers and sisters out here tell us that, well, the Willie Lynch papers are fake. Whether they're fake or not, what was said in those papers is definitely true in the sense of that's how we act towards each other.
Yeah. Who said they're not authentic? That was a true psychological method on controlling the slaves.
It's a lot of people that say that.
Well, those are part of the problem. Okay, those are part of the problem, man. Let me tell you something, bro. You got a lot of people. Listen, ignorance, hate, and anger. Those three things are ingredients for disaster. All right. Why in the world do people, in regards to the Willie Lynch papers or anything, say, "Oh, they're not real"? What do you mean they're not real? Look at the outcome and go back and compare it to what's written in those papers and look at how we are today. Shit, you can't tell me whether they're fake or not. It looks pretty much like it's still working. I'm sorry. You know, a person of color who, especially people who are into the materialistic part of it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, they'll go drop $200 on some shoes like it ain't nothing. They'll go spend $500 on some jeans like it ain't nothing. They'll buy a T-shirt, right? Because it's basically a T-shirt with designs and a logo on it. So it went from a $5 to $7 to a $12 T-shirt to a $50 T-shirt. Just to say, look at me, look at me. Okay? And then when they're buying these items, as we well know, they're not black owned, they're not black created, they're not black distributed, they're not black anything. Okay?
No doubt.
So you take that $1,000 that they spent, right? And then eliminate all the other companies, and then you and I have a shop, they'll never walk in there. You see what I'm saying? Same, hey, ain't nothing but shoes to the kids in Africa. They just cover your damn feet. They're jeans. It's a shirt. We put way too much emphasis on rocking labels. You see what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with looking nice. I like to look nice, but guess what, bro? If my shit is clean, you know what I'm saying, and it's matching, we're good. I don't need to get all up into that. I like suits. You know what I'm saying? And so you got your finest fabric to your regular fabrics and everything in between. But when it comes down to who you're buying it for, you know, then all of a sudden, nah, I ain't gonna go up in there. You know, they got a pair of shoes that look just like Air Max, the red, black, and green. You seen those?
Oh, yeah, I like them. I'm gonna give me a pair.
They dope. I gotta get a pair. You see what I'm saying? Now, whether or not people rock them or not, or buy them, that's just one thing.
They call it Negast. Negast. I believe.
Negast. Yep, that is it.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And then you got this boot company, and don't get me wrong, the boots are like $200, $250, okay. But my thing is, it's Negash, it's Negash. And I want to say they out of Detroit too. I do want to say that. Only reason I want to say that because for some reason I think my cousin might be dating one of the guys that run it or something. So that's the only reason I think it's out of Detroit. I didn't know it was out of Detroit. I just knew I had found it, and then I saw something on her page and made me kind of think maybe she know them or she's dating them.
Hey, Randall, are you ready for the joke of the night?
What's that?
In reference to how we support black businesses, you said you know somebody who might be dating somebody. Hey, let me get the hookup. Let me get that discount.
Let me get that discount.
You know, they don't.
There you go, though. That's what it is. Because like my mom, she does catering and stuff like that, and the guy, and she would say that the guys would come in, they'd be like, let me get, why don't y'all let me get this for this price, and she would be like, y'all don't go to McDonald's and ask them to bring down their price. You don't go to Burger King and say, hey, I don't want to pay that. You're not gonna do, and my mom is pure gangster, so she's like, you ain't gonna do that shit here. You gonna pay what we want, or you not gonna get it. It just is what it is.
Yeah, we witnessed it firsthand. My wife had her restaurant out in Union City, Georgia, man. The best soul food in the town because it was all made from scratch like Grandma used to do. Them Negroes would bring their little sorry broke asses in there and don't want to pay $5.99, $7.99 for a real food, right? And our slogan was, it's not fast food. Is real food fast. It was Miss Chick. We had to close it down because of the economy and everything. But you should see how they would come in there and try to barter the price. Like, dude, you don't go nowhere else. Nowhere. I don't care where you don't go nowhere else except for black owned and say, man, $5.99, man, you do it for $4. Man, get your black ass out of here. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about, man. That really, really, really upsets me because I watched my wife Make them greens from scratch. Cut them onions up. This ain't no processed food. You know, just all the things that she made. She had a great menu, and people were coming from all over talking about, this is what I'm talking about. White folks, black folks, and everything in between. So, yeah, we have a problem. Yes, we do hate on each other. Yes, we are jealous of each other. Yes, we try to do things just to spite each other. We have a lot of work to do within our own selves. So while we're still pointing the fingers at everybody else, we still need to clean up our house first. We really do.
Now,
you know
with that,
first thing I'm just before I, you know.
Go ahead.
But I'm saying, if the first step is this, you know how we had a creed back in the day that just certain things we are not going to tolerate, we are not going to do. And the first thing is we gotta stop killing each other, and it's not just with bullets.
Got
We're killing each other with drugs.
I got you.
Each other with words. We it's way more ways that we're killing each other. We're killing each other by not supporting each other.
Now that right there is deep in itself.
Yeah. You see it. You and I see it. We do see it. I think everyone sees it. We just have, for the lack of better words, we need to man the fuck up as just straight up. And, you know, we know what we need to do. If you're scared, go to church. You know, the price of freedom is death. If you're going to die for something for real. Don't die for no punk shit.
Hey, I'm with you on that. So, look, because I think we over a little bit over an hour.
Yeah, we went over, man. You know,
we went over last week too, but you know, we be having fun on here talking and everything. But look, I'm gonna say this because this is my last little piece on it. I have over the last week seen people talk about y'all mad about this, but you're not mad about black on black crime. And I've seen people go back and forth about black on black crime. I've seen people. I saw Andrew Young get on TV the other day and say that the Black Lives Movement kids are a bunch of unlovable brats. You know, so there you go. You got us hating on each other, then you got the old hating on the young. You know, and I don't want to disrespect Andrew Young because I mean, at the end of the day, he went to jail fighting for the freedom of black people and fighting for civil rights acts and stuff like that. Not that, you know, not that looking back, we feel like, you know, integration might have destroyed us more than it helped us. But he still was one that went out there and tried something. I just want to say this to the black people, anybody that's listening, anybody that listen in the future. The thing is this. I listened to a guy, I want to say his name is Neely Fuller. Neely Fuller says this one thing: no one has ever defeated white supremacy, so you cannot criticize anybody for how they're trying to fight off white supremacy. With that being said, don't get me wrong, I do, when he says criticize, I don't believe he's saying you can't say anything about it or critique it or try to help them do something a little bit better, but you cannot dog somebody out for the way that they try to do something when it comes to trying to fight off what they feel like is white supremacy and try to fight off this system that is choking us out. Because the system, because really there's no one way to fight it. And the reason why I would say that is that if some people say we need politics, we need more politicians that's in our corner. We need to get the people that's in our corner. The problem is, who's in our corner? Because we don't have we don't have anybody in our pockets, we don't have anybody in our corners. So until we can get our economics together to get some politicians in our corners, even if we get politicians that we groom, they're probably going to end up being bought out once they get in that system, because somebody with more money and somebody that can pay them more than what we could pay them may pay for their allegiance. So that's going to be a problem. The other problem is, our educational system in our neighborhoods is jacked. It's fucked up. So how do you fix that? We need to start having our own schools. So I just feel like black people.
A lot of work. It's a lot of work,
but I feel like it's not going to change overnight. But I do want to say that is that black people, if you feel like education is what you're good at, go and find a bunch of other educators, black or white, that's willing to help black kids and really to truly, and they really love and truly want to educate those kids. Find those, and that's your area. That's what you help with. Those people that think that it's politicians, find those politicians and get those politicians, and then try to find people that's willing to help us fund those politicians so that we can keep them in our pockets. Best thing is this: we need to try to create our own party. The Democrats and the Republicans both have shown they don't care about us. You know, people run around here talking about, well, I don't know who to vote for. I ain't voting for Trump, so I'm gonna vote for Hillary. And then some people like, I ain't voting for Hillary, so I ain't voting for Trump. And then you got some people that's not gonna vote for nobody. Whatever. You know how I feel about the vote anyway. So I am about to vote. We already know they know who they want to be the president, and that's who's gonna be the president. Our vote don't really win that. It just makes us feel good. But when it comes to presidency, but our vote does matter when it comes to the local stuff. What really hits us, and we need to have people in there, and we need to have our own parties, and so that's something else. If you one of those type of people, get that together. If you're the person that feels like we need to put our money into black businesses, go out there and do that. If you're the person that can get people together and mentor kids, do that. If you're the person that want to fight black on black crime, do that. Everybody do what it is that they feel like they're good at, instead of dogging the people that's not doing what you think they should be doing. You know, that's not constructive. That's just not, that's not, it's time out for that. We got to stop dogging the people. Oh, Jay-Z and Beyonce should probably do whatever. That's their business. That's their money. They got to figure out, that's something they got to question and answer to God for. What are you doing?
Exactly.
What program are you going to get in on? So
it's always good to talk about somebody else, Randy. You know that. And you're the one that's doing the talking, ain't doing nothing at all.
So I'm gonna share this. I'm gonna share this before we go. Got this little website up. Can you see this website? It's called the CPBM. Yes, the Collective Black People Movement. This organization is doing a lot of stuff in a lot of different areas of the country. And they're big here in Georgia, do a lot of different stuff. This is an organization that, for me, I'm looking at, I got to do a little bit more research before I just put my money into an organization. But this is an organization that I am looking into joining up with, getting started with. Want you to look into it, and anybody that's watching it, I want you to look into it, because to me, they have the right mind frame. They're trying to do a lot of different stuff. They talk about schools on here. They promote most black businesses, and this is, they got a lot of history information on here, and really what I can tell from this page too, there's no real hate on it. And what I mean by no real hate, they kind of loving on everybody. It ain't, I ain't messing with the NAACP niggas. It ain't, what I'm saying? I mean, they kind of loving on everybody. Like, look, we all in this together. You know what I'm saying? NAACP, a lot of people can say a lot of stuff about them, but without them, a lot of stuff would not have gotten done.
That's right.
Now, I do understand that they were started by white people, and that many people feel like the agents be in the NAACP, and that's their way of keeping us under control. And whatever. Right now, at this point, we pretty much outgrown the NAACP. But most black people that's in the streets are not really a part of that organization. So that's that's neither here nor there. But this is something that I think people should think about, and I just think that if this is not for you, fine, that's good, that's okay. But maybe you can find something that's for you. It could be the NAACP, it could be NAN, it could be NAN, which is the Al Sharpton's group, the National Action Network. It could be Black Lives Matter. It could be whatever, but we all need to get into something. And what needs to happen is that all those groups need to get together and sit at a round table together. And somebody like Tavis Smiley, hopefully, who has that pool, could probably put that together and get all those leaders together and get them talking about what it is that we could do collectively. You know, the Fruit of Islam, get them in there on it. Any churches that are willing to get in on it. I'm gonna say this, and it's probably gonna be very not taken well, but I really don't care. If you at a church, a black church, white church, and you are a black person, and they have not spoken out against this, what has happened, they have not said anything about these white cops, or forget white cops, these police officers in general that's running around here killing people, and the other police officers that's trying to cover it up. If they're not speaking out against that, you really need to think about if that's the church you need to be giving your money to. If you really need to be going to that place. Trying to be respectful to it because it's church, but I wanted to say something else. But do you really need to go there? You know what I'm saying? Right. That's ridiculous. You going there giving your money, but they not saying nothing about what's going on with your people. So yeah, I think you know that's something that we really need to think about as Christians. You know, I know the Nation of Islam, the fruit of Islam, and all them. I know they saying something about it. You know, that's not even. You know, Farrakhan gonna say something about it.
No doubt, no doubt.
You know, and like I said, people can say whatever they want to say about anybody's group, but we need to stop dogging each other out because everybody's trying to figure out a solution. And instead of dogging each other's solution out, why don't we sit down and collectively talk about those solutions and come up with the best ideas together and figure out a way to get out of this? Because the problem is like you said, we do have the police, we do got a system that's against us, because it's not just the police, it's the system. It's the whole system that's against us. But until we figure out a way to get out of that system or change the system, you either need to leave it or you need to change it. It's one of the two. There's no middle ground.
Right. I agree.
We can't live in this because it was never built for us, so we can't live in it. We got to change it. We got to destroy it and change it, or we got to leave it. And no middle ground anywhere. So with that being said, we just, you know, we got to figure out a way to work together. We got to figure out a way to work with the white people that want to help us. And again, work with them. Don't allow them to take over your message. Don't allow them to take over your organization, but work with them, because it's a lot of them that want to help because they understand what's going on and they hate it too. They don't want to be dealing with that either. You know, some of them don't say anything. So, of course, they look like they're guilty by association, but there's a lot of them that don't want this going on. So it's just, you know, we got to stop. We got to get that going on and try to figure out a real change and a real way to get out of that. Another thing I'm gonna say,
I think we're gonna be all right, Randy. I really do. I think it might get a little ugly before it gets better, but I truly believe in my heart of hearts, man, that we can do it. We always could do it. We always have had the capability as a people, as a nation, as humans to do it. This is called the evolution of the consciousness, all right? And that's what's happening. And sometimes great calamity, great tragedy, you know, sadly enough, has to happen to wake and rattle and shake people up, man. So I think it's going to be all right, man. Let's just be positive about it instead of, you know, being so, you know, because you can really get down into this and just get mad and depressed and sad.
Like I said, I'm angry, but I'm not mad.
Right.
I'm angry, but I'm thinking. I'm figuring out ways for myself. I'm figuring out ways for my family. And I'm figuring out ways for my friends to do things. I always tell friends, like, hey, if I see something that they're doing, I'm like, you know, you can make some money doing that, right? You know, you could be using that as a business to make you some extra money.
That's right.
You know, and I do that with myself. You know, I do that with myself. I'm like, well, let me see what I can do more. You know what I'm saying? I you know, people, like I said, people have been telling me a long time to do this show. And while the show probably not doing nothing, it's not gonna make no money right away. It could, and if it never do it, at least I'm getting some information out to people and I'm helping people out. And
I'm glad to be a part of it, man.
Have to figure out a way to do something more than just always beg for money, or always be doing stuff just for the money. You got to do stuff because it's in your heart to do. Hey, man, you got anything else you want to say and share with us, man?
Man, Randy, I just appreciate you having me involved with this. It's something that I feel is going to grow into something great. It's already great in my eyes. It's positive. We'll be able to touch, and you know, this is our third time we've done this, and me and you 2 times, so we're going to lock in on the professionalism of it all. But you know, I really appreciate you, man. I love you, man, and
hey, man,
I'm going to do some research on the. I'm going to do some research on the banks, man. I think that it's going to be something that we can touch on in some future segments. We'll touch on the banks. We can also touch on something that we also spoke about before, which is racism within the churches. You mentioned churches. That's another thing we can look at. I've been invited to a lot of churches. I want you to go with me, man. I was invited to this church. I'll talk to you. I'll call you when we get off, and I'll tell you about it. But I was invited to go to a church.
Okay.
And I want you to go with me. I haven't said that I was going to go, but I want you to go with me if I decide to go. So,
let me ask you this before you go. Is this church at Dahlonega?
Is it who?
Is it in Dahlonega?
Is it in Dahlonega?
Yeah. Call me when we get off, man. Hey, look. Look, man. We appreciate anybody that watches this. We appreciate y'all. Hit us up. Comment on it. If you got something negative to say, comment that. We'll answer back to that too. We don't care. We just want to hear what you got to say. If you think what we said is silly and stupid, comment on it. If you got something to say, I may answer it. I may not. I may not even care about it. I mean, a lot of people hide behind they computers and say stuff. And if you got positive stuff to say, we definitely want to hear that. If you are a person out there that got a business that you want me to say something about on here so other people can see it, please get at me. If you got something in Detroit, Michigan, that is a organization that is doing something for the community in Detroit, Michigan, please, I don't care if the organization is white, I don't care if the organization is black, if it is doing something for the city of Detroit, which is where I come from. As you can see, I wear these D hats every week. If you can, I wear them because my hair ain't cut. But if you got a business or organization that is doing something for the community of Detroit, please hit me up. I would love to have you get on here with us as far as get on here with us and hang out and talk with us, talk to us about your organization, explain it. I'm still trying to get a couple people on here that got some things they wanted to talk about. And hey, we're gonna try to grow this from here. Yes, hey, Lee, I appreciate you, man. And we out.
All right, man. One love.